In today's video, we're going to be showing you how to install the DCS rock light kit for a two-door JK. The process will be very similar for a four-door, other than it'll just be a little bit longer. You can also see we have the DCS grill lights set up as well already. So stay tuned to learn how to set these up yourself and get some nice cool looking rock lights. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a JK rock light kit from DCS Lighting. So in the box, you'll get an instruction manual. You get some zip ties. And then there's a lot of cabling. So this is one set of wiring that's going to go in one frame, basically driver or passenger side. This will be the other one. You've got your wiring that goes to your switch panel or switches to turn it on, and then these are all the connectors that come off of the wiring. And then you'll have one light that goes in the back, kind of under where the tire jack and everything is. You'll have one that gets mounted kind of up under the radiator area up in the front of the Jeep. You have one that's a magnet that you can kind of mount in the back, in the middle. And then you'll have a whole bunch of the side lights that kind of go directly into the frame. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and start installing this on the Jeep. I've already taken out the jack and everything, and inside of here there's a little drain plug. So you just remove this drain plug. And then with this setup, you want the wire to be on the driver's side. So you run the wiring through the hole. So we just connect that in. And now if you look underneath the Jeep, you'll notice that we now have a wire here, right? And so we're just going to route this wire. Since we have the tow package, we're going to route it around, and then in a minute I'll show you the frame rail that it goes into. So now what we're going to do is, now that I've got this kind of all ran out and I've got plenty of wire, I'm going to start zip tying everything down. So like I said, we have the tow package, so I'm just connecting to that existing wire and zip tying it every so often, so that way it doesn't get caught up on anything. Another one here. And as I go, I'm just attaching to the existing tow package wire. So zip tied up here again. And I'm just keeping that wire pretty tight. They give you plenty to work with here, so I'm just kind of keeping it nice and tight on the existing tube wire that's there. So now we're going to look at it from the top side. So now you've seen I've got the wire all cleanly ran. So the next part of this is you take the end of that and you're going to go through the top hole right here in the top of the frame, right under the wheel well here. You're going to go through here, and it's pretty easy. You don't need a snake wire for this yet, but you just want to run it through and come out that opening. And so I'm just going to kind of keep it a little tight for now, and then in a few minutes we're going to run wiring from the front with a snake back to here, and this will all attach in and it'll go back in the hole and everything, and then we can tidy some of this stuff up. So next steps are let's run the wire from the front, so we'll be there next. All right, so the next step is we have to snake our little snake device here through the frame, and it's going to come out underneath the door frame under there. There's a hole, square hole on the inside that we're going to come out through. I'll show you that in a minute, but we're going to start where we left off. So this same square hole that we had before, we're going to start snaking through our snake, and I'm going to get it all the way through, and then once we get it all the way through, I'll show you on the other end where this is going to come out at. So just stay tuned for that. All right, so this is the A side cable. You want to pull this through in such a way that this connector will be the only one is at the front. So because this is going to hook in to all of the connectors up here that's eventually going to go into your switch pod. So you want this connector to be on the front, and then for each of these connectors that have doubles, you're going to want to fold them each like this so they kind of go flatter, and then we're going to tape them up. And so we're going to do that for each one. There's one set there, and there's going to be on this one more set at the end. So we're going to do the same thing with that one, right? We're going to kind of fold them flat, and that's just so it gets through the frame easier, and that way you don't run into problems. I have had issues on my JL where I didn't do this correctly and I ended up breaking it, and I had to reconnect it all back up, and it wasn't fun. So that's the next step. So we're gonna hook this to the wire, right, in such a way, the snake wire, so that it's as flat as it can be, right, and tape it all up. And we're gonna do the same thing and just kind of pull all of it through. So I'm gonna wire this all up real quick, and I'll show you what we did, and then we'll start pulling it through the frame. All right, so as you can see, I've kind of made these as flat as I can make them. There's the one, and then I kind of got these as flat as I could get them, right? This one I'm not as worried about because it'll be at the front of the frame anyway. It shouldn't even have to pull through that far. So basically now what we're going to do is I'm going to tape this up, somewhere in here on my snake wire, and then we're just going to pull it through the frame until this exits back out that original hole in the back. Remember, where we still have our rear light coming from that we already set up. So we're going to do that now. So now, like I said, there's that square hole that's back over here, and so we're just going to start feeding this wire through with the snake, and we're going to start pulling it on the other end after we get it started here, and get this all the way through. So that's the next step. Slow and gentle with it.
Slow and gentle?
Yep. Okay. All right, it's in. It's all the way in now. So what you've got is the wiring. So be careful with it. If it starts to catch, let me know and I'll help.
It just started catching now.
Okay. Where is it catching? Oh, I see it. Okay. All right. Start pulling a little. All right. Will it go now?
No, it's stuck.
Okay. Hold on. There's like a frame rail thing here, I think.
I think that's what we were getting stuck on earlier.
All right, try it now. Is that going through now?
Yep.
All right.
Like butter. All right, I'm through.
Okay, keep pulling it.
All right, all the snake is out.
So now we've kind of got the wire pulled through. I left a little at the front here because I just find it easier to, when I'm ready to start putting the lights in, then I can kind of pull the cable through the rest of the way where I need it. So I've got a little extra here, but if we go to the rear, you'll see that I've got the rear connectors pulled through. So we're going to do the same thing now on the passenger side that we just did on the driver's side, and then we'll be ready to start connecting everything up. So just like last time, we want the connector, the one kind of connector here that's got the red tip on it, we want that to be at the front of the vehicle because that's going to connect into the harness and stuff. So this one doesn't have as many of the double connectors, so I just did the one because the one at the bottom here is going to probably be at the front of the frame rail, so it's not going to matter. And then so now I'm going to take, there's one connector in the rear, and just like last time, I'm going to kind of, you know, tape it up to the snake here, and then we're going to pull it through just like the last one. So wait around for that, and we'll pull it through and show you the next step. So now you can see I've got that one connector taped up to the snake wire here, so we're going to feed it back through the same hole that was like on the other side and pull it through the rear, and then we're going to start setting up the rest of the lights. So now you should have basically the wires right for both sides ran. And then if you go to the back rear, if we look right here, right, we've got the rear cable ran. And then now on this side, you'll notice the same thing, right? We've got the rear cable, and we've got the connector for the from that other light that's in the rear already. So next steps are now to connect the other wires, and so the next one's going to be the magnetic one, which is going to be right here under the back near the transmission. So I'm gonna place that one real quick and I'll show you where it goes. So this may differ depending on your setup, but for ours, I just put the accent light kind of on this metal bracket, frame bracket here, right next to the transfer case and everything. And then I kind of ran and zip tied that along. I don't think you can fit it. I don't think it'll actually go through the frame. I tried that on my JL and it didn't work. So I just kind of zip tied it along the way. And then I ran it through this opening. And then you'll notice on the outside here, right, this is one of the mid locations. So I have one of the mid wires, right? This is where one of the mid lights goes. So you put the M there and the one connector. This is where the other one is, and I'm going to shove those back in, and that light will be done. So now I'm going to go around and show you where all the rest of the connectors, how they connect and everything. That way you have a good understanding, and then you can just connect everything and shove the lights into the holes. All right, so if you've got everything wired now, what I did is, remember when I showed you we had to have that one connector at the front, right? So that's the one that I snaked up from that original square hole down here. I snaked it up here, and that's got a wire, or that's got a light connected to it. Then, you know, we have that right there that's going to run up to the harness in a few minutes. It goes into the engine bay and everything. So that's what that wire is just hanging there for. Then what I've got here, like I mentioned before, we've got the one mid light, right? It'll be labeled with an M on it, if you can see that. And then I connected the accent light, that's the magnet light, that I ran that through the frame here and connected it in. So we're going to push that in right in a minute and then connect the lights. Then that runs all the way around, right, through the frame to the back, where we've got our rear light connected, that's, you know, in the where the floor jack is, and then we've got the other rear light connected. Then that's all going to fit into that hole. And if you look, the passenger side, same thing. The only difference on the passenger side is we're only going to have, right, just the one light connector. And then just like the other side, we pulled through the one mid connector. There's just one mid connector here. You can see it's got the M. And then just like before I mentioned, that's our one wire that's going to go up into the engine bay to the wiring harness. And then we've got our front light here, right? And then if you look underneath the Jeep, we have our one mounted right here where it tells you to in the instructions. There's this big bar right underneath the section there, right near the sway bar and everything, basically right above it, more or less, and that's where we've got that one connected to. And then like I mentioned before, we've got that one accent light down there, you know, mounted to the frame, and that's the one that connected in. So that's where all of our wires are, all of our lights are. So now we're going to run all of these up through the engine bay, up to the wiring harness at the top, and then connect it to our switch panel. So we're going to show that next. This is what we've got here. If you're having issues getting them to actually like pop in, like, I don't know, we'll see. You can also spray them with a little bit of Windex or something like that to get them going, but that one's in there now, right? So we're just going to go and do that for all of the rest of the holes, and we'll get back and show you how to connect all of these into the engine bay. Okay, so now with the wiring done, I could probably have done a better job of it, but basically, you know, once we put the inner fenders back on, you won't see it, but I ran the one wire up through around here, and then back up, and then back up through here basically, and then back around, and then I've got them connected there. That's running down. I'm going to loom all of this up pretty soon. It's all going to be loomed up together, but then that runs all the way over, way around here, right? And then I have my positive and negative going to my aux beam connector, and then now you'll see all of the lights are on, including the one up underneath there, right? And then there's also, you can barely see it, but you can see the magnet light right there. And then we've got the rear there, the mid there, the front one there, and then the one right underneath the radiator. So that's it, pretty straightforward. This is a 2-door JK. Like I said, it's not too bad. I'll show a video tonight once it goes down, and you can see what these plus the grill lights look like. So I've already installed the grill lights. But you can see there's a magnet light there, and then a magnet light there. So let's wait for it to get dark, and we will show it in the dark. Well, hopefully this guide helped you figure out how to get the rock lights installed. I did forget to show the driver's side connector, so just remember you do have to still run that driver's side connector, you know, up through the engine bay there and connect in closer to where I showed my switch pod. But besides that, hopefully this was an informative video. These lights are super, super bright. I have them on my JK and my JL, and I absolutely love them. So if you're interested in buying some, look in the description below, code Mischief, and it'll save you a little bit of money. Thanks again.